And next we have The Lost Time Loop, Max the Rebellion, Volume 1, a time travel LitRPG series. Their title actually changed from the one I had earlier. Written by Anton Emelianov and Sergei Sabanov. It is 317 pages. It is $3.99. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. And here is the author's description. Max finds himself in a time loop. Any kind of death annuls everything except his present knowledge and returns him to the past. This is a good way to test all sorts of things. That is, it would be if not for one little thing. This loop has real lords, and it's unlikely they'll be happy to hear about an uninvited guest. And that isn't his only problem. All of his memories of the last year have simply disappeared, and the world around him has changed in the meantime. Earth has been seized by the Velly clan and is now part of the Star Empire. Max has also discovered his gift. He's a psychic. However, his power isn't that big of a deal. Anyone can be a level 1 battery. To do anything else, however, you need to have some talent, money, and connections, which only complicates things further. A whole new world, great opportunities, and lots of chances to get into trouble. Welcome to The Lost Time Loop. So there we go. It's actually not a bad description of the story. Some of the themes overall, I think, for the series. This is a good story. It kind of had to grow on me, though, before I got into it. I would say the first 15% of it was a little bit of a struggle to get through until you kind of started to see the RPG interface a little bit more, at least for me. The beginning of it just didn't really grab me. But I pushed through, and once you start to get into more of the time reset aspects of it, and the main character actually exploring how to benefit himself from it, then it got interesting to me, and I really enjoyed it from then on. And again, part of the reason it was harder is just the RPG progression is kind of super thin for the entire story, but in the beginning, it's almost non-existent. So that was kind of a thing for me. It was really just kind of interesting enough in the story to just follow the main character as he makes different choices, learns about terrible secrets, and gains power. Of course, he dies again and again and again, and gets reset each particular time to a particular point in his past or in his current memory. But I also like the fact that even though it's kind of a Groundhog Day kind of time situation, each one of these kind of lives he leaves is very different from the past ones. So he might make one series of decisions, or he might be prepping for his next death by doing research in this one. And there are all kinds of like interesting ways the story kind of progresses with that. I thought it was a really well done kind of time travel mechanic. In addition to that, he's not the only one who has this particular ability, who's not caught in this loop. The kind of background for this world is that the world has been conquered by aliens, these blue skin creatures, which is what's on the cover. And so there's also an alien presence here with different technologies. So this almost feels like almost a less of a real life literature story, but also more of a sci-fi-ish story as well, since it is set in a future with an entirely different set of technologies, including psychic powers and alien battery technology, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's kind of neat. So nice stuff there. But for me, it was just kind of fun to follow the main character. And it is a kind of slice of life. There's not really like a huge developed plot. There may be a series plot, but there's not really a individual story plot. So this is very much a slice of life story where you just follow this main character as he's trying to progress, trying to save his life, and grow in power in these different ways. There's also like this background stuff, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. On the RPG side of things, again, things are kind of thin in the story. There's an entire system implemented by the aliens who take over Earth. There are levels, but they're associated with a kind of a job system. It's not like this RPG game mechanic necessarily. They mentioned in the novel description, main character has a job as a battery, which is kind of more of a psychic battery, which is explained in the story. And Earthlings and everyone else is used as like this power source, and they recharge the entire day. And as they gain more power and they practice their psychic skills, they can store and use more energy, and they go up their level in battery system. And this is technically the gradual power growth that the novel is using as this kind of loose RPG mechanic. And it is there. There's again a gradual power growth of the main character as he gains powers. He gains more abilities that he's learning through his different lives. So there is an actual, power curve for the main character. And again, it's not as gamey though as like other kind of stories with this thing. There's also a clear reputation system in the story that I found actually had an impact. I like the way it was implemented, and it was actually nice to see that the way the main character was treated by the police, by the alien societies, his opportunities to advance in the world were all very much tied into his reputation, the reputation system that's in the story. So it was I think that was a nice kind of game mechanic like system as well. Again, the story is technically RPG, but again, it's if you're looking for something that's like really crunchy, really gamey, and like really feels like a trapped in a game kind of thing, or an MMO, this is not going to feel that way. It's more of a real life RPG sim. So if you're more like his power and his progression is being tracked by a technological interface system. So it's more like the Level Up series in that rather respect. Overall, I enjoyed the story. I did, but it wasn't really because of the RPG stuff. That was nice, and it keeps it in the LitRPG kind of category for me, especially as the story goes on. It does show more information as the story progresses. In the beginning, it's super light, though. But the story was kind of good enough as almost a sci-fi story on its own to be enjoyable. I like the time travel stuff. I like the slice of life stuff, and I liked seeing how it unfolded, how the main character used each life's knowledge that he gained to his advantage. So it's fun. Fair warning, though, there was no solid ending. It's not necessarily a cliffhanger as much as like, oh wait, just a to be continued kind of ending. So if that bothers you, don't pick this up, at least until a couple books in. But for me, I don't have an issue with it. For me, I enjoyed the story overall. Gets a score of 7.6 out of 10. That's The Last Time Loop, Max of the Rebellion Volume 1, a time travel LitRPG series with a score of 7.6 out of 10.